Whoops. Oh, there we go. Hi. I should have hit the record button there. But anyway, so the crew's back together in the med bay. We are down one of the security officers, whose fate is currently unknown, was drug off. We have Danner, who is in a spacesuit and covered in blood and chunks. We have Jim and Sin, security, having successfully but in a tense fashion, made it to the armory and back with 3 pulse rifles and sets of armor. And Cyril, Isaac, and the others, including Benny the pirate. Benny the pirate. Oh, there was a space pirate the whole time. Benny. He was among you.
What's the way better let the alien on this ship? I know. I can have for baby Storm's locker.
No, we keep him nice and pacified by frequent bottles of rum, and we never ask him why he's got a jar of dirt.
I'm sorry, I could not resist. I mean, I am literally called Silver Pirate. I am literally made for something like that.
Benny the pilot here, who it's a nickname that he's come to adopt, as other people apparently from some old Earth music, something about jets, because he's a pilot, Benny and the jets. He doesn't quite get it, but he doesn't contest it. And so he had just suggested, when everyone's coming together here, a so you're saying kind of a summary that could involve painting the rock sample up like a big, bright, reflective tennis ball, effectively, and launching it out, and using that to get rid, to attract and purge the creature aboard the ship. Maybe similar to like a fruit fly trap. It's that season. I don't know if any of you have those. It looks like a little apple, and you put kind of a nectar in it, and then all the fruit flies go in there, and then they die instead of swarming over your sink or garbage. So that's what was put out on the table, just as Cyril was trying to put together a affectionately called proton pack here, to come up with a weapon that could damage these creatures by overcoming their threshold, while not needing to actually dump the power core into them.
I still say it'd work.
So maybe Jim and Sin are a little bit more explainable, because they went out to go get guns and armor and they came back with it. Danner, what do you want to say to everyone? I mean, I guess if you want to ditch the EVA suit, you don't have to be there covered in it. It's dramatic, but if you would prefer to be, then...
Actually, EVA suit would be the most valuable part of that excursion.
Yeah, I think I've kind of grown attached to it at this point.
No, that's just because it all dried up.
I can take this off whenever I want, but I'm not going to.
We're going to hose you down, you realize. All that stuff all over you.
What happened to the
Dexter?
other guy? Yeah, Dexter.
Lance Corporal Dexter.
It looks like he's on top of Dr. Zammer.
I look around, I'm like, I didn't even notice he was gone. I kind of forgot about him.
I
You
glance
were
over
there!
I glance over at Sin.
We both were attacked, and I just barely managed to get out of here.
I don't know about you, but that sounds a little sus.
I gesture
All I will
my
say,
suit. I'm like,
Isaac, one thing you gotta remember, no matter what y'all have been through, he's still a civilian. He hasn't been trained.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What he's saying is more likely than him being some kind of weird double agent for aliens that don't even think the way we do. And in the process of supporting Danner, I'm going to try to calm him down. When Danner realizes there's people on his side, might calm him down and get some of that stress to go away.
Ah, yes. Okay.
You just see the elevator's door open and a synth just jumps out right now.
Would that be manipulation?
Or
would it be command?
That is a good question, because I know that there's a marine ability that lets you banter, but I don't know if you have that one. So if not, relieving stress. Let's see. Your stress level is reduced by 1 point. You cannot make any skill rolls while resting. Okay, so in this case, unless you took that particular option for Marines here, what you can do is, now that you're in a well-lit lab, you have answers to questions. And yeah, it's really weird that Danner showed up and is covered in blood and chunks, but you are in relative safety. And so what this can do is everyone's stress level can start to lower as you're able to catch your breath, put things together, sort out your emotions and thoughts. So
Can I interject for a little bit?
Yeah, what?
Please do.
So I'm riding on this high of like survivability, and I want to come in and just, it probably doesn't even faze me that, what Isaac said. I'm gonna be like, it's like a little light bulb in the head. Like, we can survive this if we try to like camouflage with this visceral gunk. Apparently, like, they can't sense us, and I'm just kind of like, I need to share this information.
How much stress do we get lowered, or is it just like
right now? Everyone can take 1 stress away.
Cool.
If you spend a very long time doing this, you can reduce it down, but doing this for a very long time may have reduced benefits because other things on this ship might occur, or there's the fact that, Danner is covered in this stuff. Hopefully it doesn't leave some sort of like a scent trail or a chemical trail like ants follow.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, I have 2 questions. First of all, do I notice that it's not simply blood, but it's metallic sheen?
Yes, in fact, Cyril, you don't even have to roll. I am that generous. There is this rust that is on the metal, and it's not growing at some fantastic pace before your eyes. But if he grabbed a clean suit and he's now standing before you, while a lot of it is blood, you're noticing that even beyond the blood, this rust is growing over the metallic surfaces. So
I start to approach.
Wait. Isn't that most of that suit just made out of fiber or fabric?
Not for pressure suits, no.
If we can find a suit that has a bunch of that fabric, put some metal on it, we got ourselves the camouflage.
Sure, just please do not spread this gunk over the lab. Yeah,
basically,
keep the rust from growing.
Basically, just more pressure suits. Yeah.
Basically, we don't even have to find anyone infected. We just grab some off of him, place it on different pressure suits, wear those pressure suits, walk in. It's like we're invisible. And as long as we don't make any too much noise, we should be fine.
And the second question is, does this thing come with a user manual?
Oh, as you're the one inventing it, I'll say yes. Um, because you're the one who really had to put it together. So you have an idea of how it works. And it operates on the principle of put the dangerous end towards the thing you want to shoot. Yeah, I mean, you're the inventor. You're probably going to be the one who. I mean, you're comfortable with it. Not that.
I would rather give it to
not that Jim
Curly
can't.
or something.
Well, one thing, by the way, since we have 3 sets of armor and only 2 security, we're going to put the kid in one of the armor suits because it's just breastplate and then plate that strap onto the forearm and shins. I don't think he needs the helmet because it might be a little bit too big for him.
If you're going through the potentially decompressed ship, whoever is going will need the appropriate pressure suit.
Yes. And the thing is, looking at that pressure suit and the size of personnel armor, you can wear the one inside the other. Because I guarantee you, Sin wearing her full armor, other than the helmet, of course, is still going to be not as big around in the torso as me.
Okay.
So if I can fit in the armor, if I can fit in it, then she can fit in it with armor.
Honestly, if I have a choice, I would rather go without armor. I'm not sure I would be able to move around with armor on.
Question,
You
how
don't
many
need to
of
feel
those
it.
are there?
How many what?
Of those armor, of the pressure suits?
Well, there's pressure suits for port and starboard, according to the map, if I remember correctly.
I'm just walking up and like grabbing stuff. No one's told me to stay still or anything. So
And not to spread the rust, please.
I couldn't hear
Yeah.
you. There was so much stuff going on.
Okay, we did figure out some of the materials which will not be spread, which rust will not spread over. So we'll probably just roll out a sheet of polyethylene for you to undress.
Well, if we act quickly, this could be our camouflage. With your weapon, we have a way to fight them if we, get cornered by them. Even if the camouflage doesn't work. As
do.
well as those.
Well, if my weapon doesn't work, yours might. So.
Oh, you guys.
Better!
Weapons,
It's
awesome.
Yeah, we managed to get all 3 of the M41s, most of the magazines, and all 3 sets of personal armor.
I don't know if Curly needs a personal armor, but if there is a choice, I would rather go without the armor.
I understand. We only have 3 sets, one for me, one for Sin, and we put the kid in one so he has a better chance of surviving.
Sure.
I try to interject a little bit, and I tell him I actually got to interact with one of these creatures that's crawling around, hence all the gunk on the suit. But I was able to get really close to one.
What happened?
I started recording literally what he's speaking.
I immediately stand up behind Cyril and just kind of just like stare at you as you recite what happened.
So I start recalling some of the behaviors that I witnessed, So I kind of explain a little bit of like it didn't really have eyes, but it kind of sensed noise or vibration. So every time I would like knock something over, it would investigate the source of the noise, and it would hover over items, flesh, and other materials, like it was looking for something, but I couldn't really tell what it was trying to find.
And what about Dexter? Lance Corporal Dexter, what happened with him?
Yeah, at this point, I don't really know anyone by name, but I'm just assuming that he's talking about the guy that was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as soon as we stepped out into the hallway, he was kind of taken right away.
Please, about the interaction with the creature.
Oh yes,
What
yes,
does
yes,
it
yes.
look like? What is behavior?
So at first, I went down into the cryo room. It's a mess, and no one's there. But it did look like there were bodies being piled up in there, like they're being brought into this area. And at first, I was trying to see if we can maybe get some samples, or if there was one of those crew members that were kind of infected, but I couldn't find any, and I accidentally flipped, or I bumped into something, and I guess one of the creatures was in the vents, and as soon as it came out, it started its pursuit, and all of a sudden it just stopped. I don't know if it could smell me because of the suit, or if there was something wrong with what was going on in the area, that it might have confused me with the body, but it didn't attack me.
Maybe because of the red
And
rust.
already covered with this, and I take a picture of the gunk.
All right.
It might have been just confused. Maybe it thought I was dead.
Or maybe it thought, or could thought that you were a robot slash infected with the red rust, so it just probably thought you were just some sort of manufacturing thing in its lair.
Maybe.
It may not have thought.
Well, it ignored Susan, who was moving in a similar fashion, disoriented and covered in gunk.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
But where is she now?
She could have changed into something, or she could be covering some of her. It might be on that suit.
She could have.
So yeah, I didn't find any of the crew members. I don't think there's anyone else on this ship. I think either they've been taken or hiding, but I sincerely doubt it. This thing moves fast.
Well, I'll add this to my files.
Cyril, you would note as well as you go to take a picture that, while it's not an advanced state of decay, the EVA suits aboard the Emmet have always been in good shape. I mean, they get limited use, but, the funds keep things nice and shiny and new. But Danner's
And we actually
EVA
use them on occasion.
Danner's suit, especially where there's blood, seems to have some pocking, some texture to the otherwise smooth metal, indicating that it seems that with blood or this biomass against which it has made contact, it has eaten the metal more than just kind of grown across it.
So it has clearly significant corrosive properties.
As this rust is growing out of the blood splatters, it seems to be growing because it's eating the metal underlying it and possibly using the blood as some sort of fuel or extra something. But it's
like a catalyst.
Yeah, it's reacting to it more than just the ambient streaks of rust that just sort of kind of just go across the metal as they have. Now, Danner's suit is not, in your professional opinion, at risk of breaching anytime soon, though as effective as a camouflage as this would be, there's a point where a breach in the suit would be a worry, if you're covered in this stuff, because it seemingly is slowly eating through the metal. But right now, because of a texture difference you saw in your photograph, there's not chunks falling out. It doesn't look like a 50-year-old piece of farm equipment left out in the field. But there's enough that it's a concern that this is apparently effective camouflage, though it is consuming the metal to grow. It is using
Maddie,
this biomass to grow.
just a minor side note. Both Rip Artist and Mushio have mentioned that it's hard to hear you. You're a lot quieter than the rest of us.
Oh, all right. Thank you for saying something. Test. Let me see if I can... Test. Is this any better, everyone? Can you hear me a little better? And thank you for... Better? Ah, excellent. Thank you for saying something. All right. So, with the crew together, what is the plan you want to enact? You have guns and armor. You could go on a bug hunt. You could throw the ball and play fetch. You could just leave.
This is last resort.
I also forgot to mention the temperature readings, if that's important to anyone.
That could be.
Could very well
The
be.
cryo was a lot warmer, and then the engine room is a lot warmer than everywhere else.
Well, we know why the cryo was warmer now, because they broke open the pods like they were Christmas walnuts.
We will need to examine what the hotspots are. At this point, I think our primal target is the space potato. And we want to make sure that we will get to that potato. So our first order of business is make a nice, attractive yarn ball out of the collected sample. Power packs, paint, maybe a bunch of wires just running current through them from the power packs. Pick it up and shove it out into space so it will leisurely bugger off as we take the opposite side.
Okay.
It's not the opposite, but it's quite distant from there. We go on the shuttle, which can be insulated by the engineers to make it less attractive.
Hey, Maddie, was I able to see what it was that the creature was taking, what kind of parts, or was I too much in a shock to even notice that?
Nope. That's a good question. I threw you against one of these broken pods, and as well, you relied on something kind of similar anyway. Now, yours was like a medical pod, not a specific hypersleep. So not only was it harvesting the contents, but the pods themselves were savaged. And you would note that the pods, while they are hooked into the ship's power supply, each of them does have a kind of backup battery that can last for an amount of time. In case of power failure, that way people don't just die when the power flickers. Some of them, kind of like your medical pod, can last for a while because it was a big, chunky, almost like a room. Not like a room, but it was a big thing itself. Some, they're not exactly escape pods, like they wouldn't survive re-entry, but some people have been known to just float in one for a while on like minimum support from the battery. The batteries were missing from the pods. And the bodies. Well, parts of the bodies.
This is what they use.
All right, very good, thank you.
Yes.
All right, so current plan is we're going to use the red bus.
Rest.
No, red bus, the shuttle. to go back to the giant potato,
Mm-hmm.
get our equipment and our and rig the other engines, come back here, and use our kitty toy and alien catnip energy to eject our unwelcome visitors as we repair the engines and get out of here. Is that pretty much the sum total of what we got planned?
Additionally, what Dr. Zammer have given me an idea, but I think everybody by now have got something like this. We can go and collect more of this gunky gunk, spread it over the scaphanders, and go cover it in red.
I would also suggest if we have enough, put it on the thickest areas of exterior of the red bus.
I would rather not put stuff where it's hard to observe if there is something going wrong with it. In the worst case scenario, we might be trying to evacuate on the bus, and I would like to minimize its exposure to the activated red rust.
If you want me, says Benny, to pilot the red shuttle, I would greatly prefer that you get rid of this thing first, because I don't want to be like, look, I knew the pilots of the black shuttle. If you take off in that before taking care of the thing on this ship, can you guarantee me that we're not going to get torn open like a can of beans?
At this point, very few guarantees there
We
are.
know that there are 2 on board ship. We also know, as Cyril reminded me last week, that there are motion sensors in the ship thanks to that's what turns lights on and off. Have we been able to figure out where they are right now?
If there's a radio, I can keep an eye on the monitors and let you guys know where they're at all times, unless they're in the air vents.
Mati, the fourth question, I forgot to mention it. The motion sensors. The motion sensors pick up whatever there is in real time in front of them, and normally they react if there is something spikes, increase activity. But much like scientists have a tendency to, if we not looking for increase of activity but sudden decrease of activity, if we looking for the blank spots, for the empties, because these things seem to be particularly invisible, but they will dark shadows crawling along the ship.
Like how we detect black holes with regular telescopes.
So I look for the black spots. Got it.
And we got a whole science team that can help.
It might be possible to do. Your time is limited. You might be able to make one of these, but there's a lot of other things you got to do if you want to throw the ball and get the shuttle in order and get out.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. Not a portable one.
Motion sensors. What we are trying to do is reconfigure the entire array of them so that it will react to the dark shadows crawling about.
We don't even have to do that. We can just pull up the data and find areas where there's a moving blank spot.
With the main power being down, that would not be possible outside of the med bay.
That's fair.
All right. Then the next thing is Sin and I go on a bug hunt and get those 2 off our ship before we head out.
I'll keep an eye on the monitors and tell you where they're at. Probably not a good idea for a little kid to go out there to go on a bug hunt.
Grab the suit. If you can be invisible while you're doing that, it's a huge bonus, I believe, no?
Is there anyone else of the secondary crew, let's call them, the NPCs, who have any kind of security, military, or hunting training.
I think the rest are like engineer. Like we have like one engineer, and the rest are like scientists. So
And if that
probably
engineer
not.
is from South Carolina, he knows how to use a gun.
We have a
That doesn't mean this engineer does.
called Curly, who is a specialist security.
Hmm. So just me and Sin then.
But yeah, I'll keep you and Sin safe.
Okay.
Once it's in the vents, I'll have eyes and ears.
Actually, while you're on the hunt, you might want to grab my practice weapon, the backpack, and see how it works.
What have you done to Glorice?
Well, she got an upgrade. She might be able to kill bugs.
And she might explode.
We tested that a little bit earlier.
It didn't explode yet.
The word being yet.
It comes with a backpack.
All right. Are you hunting or trapping?
We're gonna. It'd probably be best to do both. Find a way to lure them to a specific area of the ship where we can trap them in a crossfire.
Well, if they're drawing from the power, they're probably going to be looking for the biggest power source that they can find.
Which would be the engine of the reactor. But they probably can't get close enough to the reactor for some reason, otherwise we would have lost all power.
Mm-hmm. So they must be fairly close or adjacent to.
Maybe they find it comfortable enough some distance from it.
Yeah.
Like a radiator.
Danner,
Yeah.
from your experience, as there were no more easy pickings in the cryo room, and the fact that that thing popped out and actually took your companion, these things would be looking for people, as there's no more low-hanging fruit. And, I mean, there's metal, and they also stole energy and are holed up there. But they also want people.
Yeah, so basically, these things are out here. We're not. I don't think we're going to be able to hunt them effectively. In that, we're going to sneak up on it or anything, or maybe
That was
set a
never a
trap.
plan. No, the point is, if we can lure them into a trap with something they're wanting, and lure them into a crossfire.
They're looking for bodies and batteries. I'm not sure. They're probably like from the temperature readings in the engine room. They're doing something with the energy from these battery packs. They took everything from the cryo room.
I don't think the battery in this is going to be enough.
You could
As
try
I'm
going to
holding
them in
my
the
motion
engine room,
sensor.
or you could try getting them out to you. Then
Yeah.
you know where they're at.
Yeah, I don't think 3 AAAs are going to be enough to attract their attention.
So unless these things move extremely fast, we might be dealing with multiple creatures. There was one in the hallway that took the security guard that was doing at least.
We know there is 2. We have no evidence of either of more yet.
So we do have a bit of energy. We could generate. Well, actually, we could try creating that catnip trap first, and see if it will attract any visitors.
Metaphorically, ring the dinner bell.
Before you do that, give Sin and I a chance to get in position to where we can aim in on.
Oh, I'm not going there until you're in position.
Yeah. Also, we need to get at least one more environment suit.
So, just for my understanding, what's stopping us from just leaving now? like getting into the bus if we
Not enough
can
room for
effectively-
everyone.
There is. The red bus can hold a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
Like we could.
Because we need to destroy these things before whoever responds to our SOS gets here, gets infected, and carries us even further back into inhabited space in either direction.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is if we can set this off and just take off in the bus, like why we don't have to go anywhere.
I have an answer to that. Whatever will be coming responding to the emergency signal will be looking for Emmet. Whether it will be going looking for the red bus is a huge question, and whether we will be found before we die from
Well, actually,
Right.
that's easily answered.
age is very unlikely.
Whether or not they'll look for the red bus is easily answered because all the shuttles on board the ship have the same identify friend foe transponders on them.
Sure, but it's not quite as visible.
It doesn't matter. They'd be getting the signal from the IFF. It's over here, over here, over here, and they'd be able to
You
find
don't
it.
understand. Emmet is specifically made easily detectable.
Well, whatever it
It will
is
be
we
found.
do, we need to do it quick.
At the very least, you need to destroy what is haunting the Emmet. Because if you take off in the red shuttle, there's a chance that one or both are going
We'll
to
be on it.
be on it. Now, if you just want to try and live in the lifeboat until you're picked up, that's perfectly fine.
It's the backup.
That's an option. Then there's just the question of what will happen with this hulking biomass barreling towards UA space. I mean, the Emmet is more powerful than a UPP ship, and it would detonate more powerfully than the one at the front did. But the size of this thing, I mean, even the Caradismith, this very large ship, would I mean that's what you're counting on to actually have enough juice to destroy it, to irradiate everything with enough of a powerful blast that it might actually incapacitate the whole thing and not just the front where the one small ship blew up. So the Emmet might be able to disable a part of this hive, but is not going to be enough to actually get rid of it.
So it'd be using the Emmet to detonate the bigger engines in the potato, right?
Real quick idea. Emmet hitting part of the Tarantula class ship. Just think, even if it only damages some of the engines, that will cause it to have an irregular thrust around its center of gravity and alter its trajectory away from UA space.
Right now, the Emmet is not capable of being piloted in any particular fashion, which is why the plan was to go and try and recover UPP parts, if possible, to bring back, but to infiltrate the Caradismith to just set it to detonate. And then you get back to the ship, repair your engines to hopefully get out of there. Like, to get out of the way and also to get out of this reaction that's going to be happening.
Yeah. So, we do our bug hunt on board the Emmet. Then we take the bus to the potato, get parts, sabotage, get back to the Emmet, get the Dodge out of heck.
Yes, and I think actually in that order.
All right. We need to go and grab another environment suit so that we have one for me and one for Sin, since we're going to be opening up the pod bay doors. So, let's
does
see.
Curly conveys? Because I presume it would be the better use for firepower at this time.
Curly, you mean the synth?
Yes.
One of the Daryls. Larry, who used to work on the, down over in that area, and Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, another old, never mind.
Are you sending the synth alone to go get an EVA suit?
Oh,
No.
uh,
No.
he's coming with.
He's coming. Yeah, he's coming with, but he's not going alone. And this is a now. What specialty is this in?
I'm scrolling
An
over to it.
android.
Say again. Both of you said something at the same time. What is this
It's
specialty?
an android. This
Yeah, but
particular one is a specialist. Hold on, let me find it.
yeah, that's what I was asking. Is what's his specialty?
It's the ship chef, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay. Curly, ranged close combat assistance specialties.
Okay.
How
Then,
much
actually,
energy do these things put out?
if that's the case, then he would be actually be the best one to take the laser, because
Honestly, because the laser is such slapdash piece of equipment,
Well,
we
then-
might be better off
then he
using
carries
almost-
pistols
Yeah.
because these are not close ranged combat.
He's good
pistols
at
are.
ranged and close.
Okay. The way you said it, it sounded like you meant close ranged combat, like pistol range as opposed to rifle range. Okay, well, then he gets the third rifle. Then, Curly, let's get ourselves a couple envelopes to mail ourselves to hell and back. All right. Now, where are the other environment suits besides the forward ones that apparently Danner claimed the only one? Matt?
Yep, I'm taking you over there.
Okay. Well, I was just saying, where are they? Just in the engine
There's
pods?
suits, there's suits in the maintenance bay here. So you can head back this way. That's where you had to go through anyway to get to the elevator to bring you down.
Okay, and how many suits are there?
There would be enough for you as the player characters.
Okay.
There might be others. Unfortunately, there's a lot of others in the two engine nacelles, simply because there's also airlocks that go out there for maintenance and things. But there's a good chance that they're not available because they're destroyed or are, occupied.
And there's nothing in the storage bays on the aft top deck, huh?
So over here, there would be, there might be maybe one full one in the supply and parts of one that to repair if there's ever tears or something.
What about? Yeah, I was thinking. What about in storage bays on the aft?
There's probably some too there. Yeah, it would be reasonable.
We can grab a couple because we want to make sure that we also have one for Sin and for any of the and one for our pilot. So total of 6. Do the synths need to breathe, or can they exist in vacuum?
They can't. They don't need to breathe, but they can't exist in the vacuum and operate.
Okay, so we need one more for
They
Curly
can
too.
exist, but they cannot operate in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
yeah.
Then for right now, we need one more for Curly too. So that'd be
Actually,
7.
Now that you're talking like this, I think I will count this. And at this point, not only to keep an eye out, but to carry shit.
Yeah.
I will not be shooting at anyone, but
Idea then. Grab the wheeled cart right there.
And I also want to see what happened in that where the bodies were stored.
All right.
I can tell you that it's like a blender, a meat blender. It's just
Exciting, but
gross.
that's science right there.
I mean, yeah, if we can also collect more of the visceral remains and use it as a
Oh, yeah.
camouflage. Yeah.
We'll grab a like a cart which is used for moving the jars with the hydroponic samples, and just fill them up.
Are you doing this before you get rid of your visitors, or?
This is we are in the process of getting rid of our visitors.
Okay.
We want the first order of business is become invisible, if that's possible. If we kill any of them along the way, that's a bonus. If we do not succeed killing them while collecting the samples and becoming invisible in the gunked up EVA suits, then we create a shiny yarn ball and attract them to the location and shoot them dead. And then we move on to the big potato.
So I just tell people again, like, these things are really fast. I probably only got away through sheer luck. I don't know how effective these weapons are going to be. Kind of like getting like a flashback of, the Cicada, when people were shooting at randomness in the dark, and it's just... Now I'm thinking like, oh shoot, maybe that's what this was. Like they were trying to fight off these creatures, and it just wasn't effective at all. So I don't know. I really think that if we're gonna go out and camouflage, we only have one suit that's kind of effective right now. If you guys want to risk going out there,
I want to see how it looks in UV light. I will grab 2 lights, the proper electric torch and the UV electric torch.
Danner, roll a manipulation with 1 die that I'll give you, and you can invoke any Fickle God's favors if you would like as well.
so sorry, it was just manipulation, and what else?
Yeah, manipulation plus 1. Okay, would you like to push? You don't have to.
No, we'll leave it like that.
Okay. Well, you currently are invisible to these things, or at least they don't care about it. In fact, it was almost like you were in their way. That there's some sort of expectation for you, like, just get out of here. You're just a dumb baby. But they did react to you making noise, because they were interested in the noise you made, and since you were in the way of the noise, that's why you got that backhand.
That little tapping, metallic tapping.
Yeah, because you were making noise in there, and it had already interacted with you, seemed to not care, but the noise, it hit you away, and then it was investigating what you were tapping.
So yeah, it's not effective invisibility, but it turns around who's ambushing whom.
I paused for a second, just rethinking about that information, and I'm trying to decide whether or not to express that, there might be humans that are like kind of drone-ish in this area, like maybe they're finding things for these creatures and showing them where it is. But I don't want to be sharing information that could be wrong too, so I'm kind of I'm still kind of telling them that it's going to be very dangerous. And again, I only got out of there through sheer luck, and
Jim, give me a command +1.
Okay.
With what the other Danner is saying. We're running this through. Would you like to push and/or use Fickle God? Well, I guess the Fickle God would have been before, but
Yeah.
would you like to push?
Yeah, and I can push twice instead of once for 1 stress.
Okay, so add your stress and push. There you go.
Oof.
All right. Well, I mean, worst you'll get is 9, which isn't too terrible.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your d6. Okay, 7. That's the nervous twitch. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range increase by 1. All right. So all of you increase your stress by 1 because Jim has an idea. Master Gunnery
Everyone
Sergeant.
gains stress because I got an idea.
Okay, like actual real life stress.
Well, you know
saying,
these
"You have an
M41As.
idea."
Well, you know these M41As do have a grenade launcher on them.
These things will react to the sounds that you make, Danner. Lesser Danner. But they will hopefully still ignore you. Even though that blood is kind of drying up and being used apparently to make rust. However, if you stay in that suit and you don't touch stuff, like that special gun that Cyril made, because he probably doesn't want that rusted. If you are the Vanguard, and Jim, Sin, and Curly, I mean, they're behind you, but if you're clanging down the corridor, you're drawing the thing to you. And it'll appear, hopefully. But then you gotta trust that they don't miss. Because you would be the bait. You would be the bait to get it there, not die yourself, and then the others can hopefully fire down on them and get rid of them.
So you see, kid, you didn't end up being the bait.
But this is a very, like, whoa moment, which is why everyone's heart kind of skipped a beat. Like, you gotta get rid of these things, and someone has to do something. Danner, right now you're covered in goo, and Cyril really wanted you to not spread it to other things right now. You're the most advantageous to be the bait. And if you're making more noise than everyone else following you with a gun, well,
I'm assuming stealth would be mobility.
this would be a group stealth, and we'll go over that if that's what you want to do. Danner, are you gonna volunteer voluntold?
Danner's thinking about this plan, and there's probably a bit of frustration of like, we gotta do something, and I definitely want to get out of here alive. I really don't want to blow up with the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the chief security officer, they know how to use their gun. I trust that they know what they're doing. And I also know that, maybe if something doesn't go right, at least I can probably, get down and out of the way just in case, if anything happens. I still feel like we're going to lose some people, and I just hope it's not our chief security guy.
That's exactly what my purpose is.
Okay,
If we
so
lose my purpose is if we have to lose someone, I'm the one that takes the fall.
with a little bit of reluctancy, I kind of like, all right, this suit is kind of like a little bit of like a security blanket with me right now. We've gone through some stuff together, and I don't want to take it off just yet. So I feel a little bit more comfortable wearing it, and I do agree to, at least try this idea.
Okay. We need to get this. We need to get those suits. We need to get going. Let's go.
Jim, where do you want Danner to lead the hunting party, and who's comprising the hunting party?
Well, before we even do the hunting party, we need to get the at least 2 suits. At least 3, rather.
You can.
Then we can do the
That
hunting
might
party.
draw the attention of these
The-
things.
Yeah,
the plan-
like I said, I remind them again about
But the thing
that
is,
whole option. Yeah, it'll happen.
we
It's gonna
have to
happen.
have the suits to be able to use the trap in the forward bay.
Oh no, yeah.
Because-
I
yeah.
think what Maddie was saying is that just stepping outside of the med bay, they're probably gonna be in the area anyways. I don't think we'll probably get if we're lucky, we will
Well, the
get
thing
to the
is,
suits, but
They have
It's-
power. They need biomass. They're on the hunt for people. So making yourselves obvious people is going to lure them, is going to attract them. So you can presumably bang around somewhere. I mean, hopefully stealthily get someplace. Where would you want to set the trap to lure them, to get rid of them, and then you can do whatever you want
I
on the
know.
Emmet, 'cause you
well,
don't have to
that's
worry
the
about
whole
it.
point.
I know.
That's the whole point.
In front of the captain's quarters.
The whole point was we can't do the trap without exosuits or we die. Because when we open it up, we get sucked out too.
No, that's not how. We are not doing that kind of trap. We are shooting these things.
Okay, so we're just gonna ignore the potato.
We'll get to the potato.
I meant no, the small potato.
This
The tater
is
tot.
small potatoes, everyone.
No, the tater tot.
We'll,
I don't know if you hadn't noticed, but there's a big ass potato on its way.
There is.
Well, that's the big potato. The one inside the forward bulkhead, the forward bay, is the tater tot.
first, we want to get rid of the local wildlife,
Yeah, that's what I thought the whole point of the tater tot was.
and
Here's an
then we'll
option.
throw this,
You
and
can
then
also
we'll
just shoot
throw
them.
the small potato past the big potato.
Just shoot
while
it.
we are
Let's go
landing
out there and shoot some things. How hard is this? Like,
All right.
we've been just doing nothing but standing around talking of like potential plans for like
But,
the
yeah.
past like 2
These
episodes.
creatures avoided entering the captain's quarters, except via that
Except when he was in them and they grabbed him and yanked him bye-bye.
through a specific vent.
Yep.
So you want...
Avoided touching the wood in the captain's quarters.
We're up here in the top deck, right? And so is the captain's quarters, right?
Yes.
So then we just go straight down from... Because we're in hydroponics in the biolab.
You're in medbay. In the,
we're in med
the
bay.
mid deck.
You will.
Okay.
You're going to want to go up 1 level.
Yeah, up and then forward. But they were also, if I remember correctly, they didn't touch hydroponics in the biolab either, did
Yeah,
they?
not really.
Yeah.
We can set up in the biolab or hydroponics, but I like captain quarters because there are exactly 2 points of egress
Yeah.
for the creature.
Got one vent and the door.
Yes.
Alright, let's go.
And we can have the banging happening just outside the doors where the
Mhm.
metal is.
I look at the look at Curly and Sin and say, just remember, hollow points only on board this ship.
Hollow points only. Confirmed.
And no grenade use.
No grenade use. Confirmed.
Out of character. No disintegrations. Anyway. Alright, let's go.
All right, Danner. Back to the elevator, but you're going up this time.
And you got friends with you. More than one.
I presume
I'm
Isaac and
coming
Cyril
along.
are staying behind, or Cyril, are you going?
I am coming along and I'm carrying the lights.
I am staying behind and I'm giving them basically updates. If there's like a sensor movement, I am telling them that that I know that's not them. I'm basically directed hey, there's the sensor movement on sub-level 3, etc.
Unfortunately, that's not going to be an option because of the power outage. I mean, kind of the brownout outside the med bay. But you can, in a sense, monitor some things. If only because, Isaac, if you do something like stay in radio communication with them, and you're talking or singing or playing a song, and it's wireless, that wireless signal will start to go out if this thing is getting close, because it interferes with wireless communications and energies.
Just whatever you do, don't do the song that never ends or bottles of beer on the wall.
I don't know those songs.
Good.
But I can keep talking, and once it starts messing with the radio frequency, you know you're near.
Let's do that then.
Come on, there is a really good one. Alpha no bottles of beer on the wall. Alpha no bottles of beer. You take one down, pass it around.
What even is
No
beer?
bottles of beer on the wall.
Beer is a form of alcohol. How about 97 bugs in the code that I wrote? 97 bugs in the code. Take one bug, get rid of it. 214 bugs in the code that I wrote.
Well, I
The
don't know
four
how
of
to
you,
sing
five of
either,
you with
so
zero.
I'm just gonna keep talking.
Okay,
As
so
my character is
in
going to try to
character
keep
do it.
talking.
Yeah.
Because I am not creative enough to basically keep a full conversation long enough for basically them.
That I would not be able to understand anyone else if there's two people talking.
Yeah, that too.
Isaac is providing story time or something.
Basically, he's telling some of the stories of his dad, and he's telling a bunch of the stories that he was told about his dad, about basically the whole spacer going out into space and whatnot.
All right. Well, then, so Jim and Cyril, you're learning some UPP lore, I guess. These stories and customs passed down here.
I make
the
certain
five
that
of you,
Ralph stays with Isaac.
the five of you climb into the elevator. And it starts ascending.
On
Doors.
Overwatch. Cover the door as it opens.
Open, and it's hydroponics. It's the biolab. You do the you check around. You're being tactical about this.
Keeping check
And
I
going.
grab the map. I hand it to the medic. This thing is metal. I think it should make a lot of noise.
All right. So what did you hand it, Danner, to bang around?
The mop. Without the rag, it's metal.
I wish I noticed that
I
earlier.
still couldn't hear that. The mop?
Mop.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Alright.
So
I go forward and
Don't do it yet. I wait till I'm standing there behind, ready to go when he starts moving into the captain's quarters.
all right. Danner, you take the lead as you're making your way through this kind of humid jungle area here. As it's kind of, it's overgrown and hasn't really even been harvested or looked at by these things. And two of them. Hopefully they don't flank and come at you from the sides. But this seems to be rather safe. There's no real signs here. And this deck, of course, is a little bit more of a luxurious one given where you're going. Now, the lights here, they're not so bright as what you're seeing. And there is some signs here and there of a little bit of rust, probably from something exploring. Especially, it looks like it might have been crawling along the ceiling, as you're seeing evidence on the pipes and the conduits that are running up above. The floor is almost providing. I mean, it's kind of squishy. It's kind of a rubbery substance. It's nice.
Hey,
Whoa.
am I still coming in?
Yes, thank you. Oh, by the way, when we're passing through hydroponics, I will grab a pot of tomato plant.
Sure.
Okay, I'll keep going then, and then continue on with stories. He'll do that like every 10-minute intervals, like a hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Danner, are you number one? What are you thinking as you're walking? And two, are you banging on these pipes here on your way to the captain's quarters, just to start trying to get attention?
I'm kind of seeing how this whole, like, you described the area. There's not a lot of indication that the monster or creature was here. So I'd rather not start banging away. Maybe kind of like tap it a little bit, but then I kind of notice like it might be a bad idea to start banging around. But make note that it is like, something about this area is kind of weird, that it might not like the location.
You make your way down the hallway, leading the rest of the party. The three of them, well, Curly is pretty well just dedicated forward. The other two looking, behind and at the sides, sweeping, looking forward. You make your way to the captain's quarters.
I'm right behind Curly.
And you're behind. Yep. And Curly is definitely the big one there. So you're very much behind Curly here. And the door checks on the other side for air, make sure there's nothing wrong, and opens up, and you are inside the ample the area where you were just talking to the captain not that long ago, Cyril. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time to go drumming, Danner?
Yeah, we can continue forward. Does it look like anything? Like, is there
before he does
torn up stuff?
Before he does anything, I turn to Sin, tell her to get on rear guard and face our back.
Okay. Inside the captain's quarters, there is a leather chair, over which there seems to be kind of a jagged area that has been ripped open above in the ceiling, going to some in-between space. There's some old dried blood on the leather chair, and that's about the only sign of anything that's happened in here since.
I don't. I looked to the crew and be like, I think we might be safe in here. It doesn't look like there's been much movement in here. I think if I start banging around, they're gonna come in.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Just 1 second. I grab the napkin from the table, wipe the chair a bit. I get on top of the chair and I shove the pot with the plant
Every time.
into the hole. It's the best idea I had.
I would suggest the second you do that, be ready to drop and run, because you're putting yourself in the center of the crosshairs.
Well,
as you do, Cyril, so like you pop up there. It's certainly dark up here, but you set your trap, your alarm, right? You have your potted plant up there. If it bumps into it and falls down, well. And Cyril, while you're here, you remember the captain was listening to music when he was grabbed, according to the report of the crew member who found it. Well, didn't find him. So the
Was it
music
before him?
might have attracted this thing. And so Cyril, I'm sorry, like that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're remembering this.
I'm running out of stories. Is there anything else you want me to put on?
Start from the beginning.
I'm running out of stories.
Tell us the stories of your favorite movies.
I don't have any favorite movies.
Favorite TV series.
What's that?
Okay, tell us about your favorite engines.
An excitable child, basically describing his favorite engines and shit.
So Isaac, as you do, although Cyril, if you want to help out, I mean, banging can help, but
It's
maybe
quite loud.
there's some sort of a resonance with the music that carried through the corridors and the pipes as well. But the captain's music player is still there.
How about we just use the music player rather than be banging around?
Yeah, pretty much. Resume playback. Whatever was playing last.
Wait, are we bringing it here, or this is going to be
it's right there.
This is the trap?
Yeah, we're bringing it here.
Okay.
All right.
Be ready to duck out of the room as gunfire is about to start unloading. And we don't want any accidental friendly fire.
I hide behind the table.
Not that one. Won't stop a bullet.
No, it's wooden. The creatures don't like it.
Yeah, but if it
Oh,
won't
shit,
stop a
no.
bullet, if it starts going after you, a miss could hit you.
If it gets in here, I don't think it matters.
The music player is turned on. You take your positions. Isaac, you are describing... You're describing your harrowing flight in the simulator.
Yep.
The race around the moon, the twists and turns, everyone counting on you, the battle of the Cicada. And music is playing, a fantastic operatic piece. Beautiful, resonant. And you're narrating this story of your race against, someone who was a friend. For the crew in the captain's quarters. The pot falls from the vent and crashes on the floor.
My light is there.
Isaac, as you're talking, I mean, it's not affecting your talking. But I should have done that first in the layers of things.
Yeah.
You all would hear during this performance, Isaac's every fifth word is cutting out. Every third word. The static is growing. And when Isaac reaches, and then the wireless communication cuts.
And
Then the pot falls.
Mm-hmm.
Cyril's light flares up to the vent in the ceiling. Danner, were you standing out there? Like, were you like a standing bait or were you hiding somewhere?
I was kind of standing back,
Okay.
probably closer to the door, so away from the vent area.
With it being there, do you want to start banging and hollering?
I think I kind of freeze up a little bit before I try doing anything.
What you all see are some red claws suddenly begin to curl around the broken edge of the ceiling. Now, Danner,
I take
unfortunately,
time.
this isn't new for you, but
Yeah. I take time aiming carefully.
Danner, you know what's going on here, but for you all, despite the big claws, there's just this little tiny little kind of mouth thing that kind of descends down and opens and closes and then retracts back. And it looks like the claws are starting to release and be pulled back.
Danner.
I kind of like I hear him. I'm like I start banging on the side of the door.
A metallic shriek "Ah!" echoes, overpowering even the opera and the static of Isaac. And you all watch as a big 8-9 foot tall something sluices out of this space between.
Bang.
Matte red in color. Order to open fire.
The order to open fire is me shooting.
That's a good order. Pretty universal. All right.
Just, not even gonna say fire, just fire.
Well, no,
All right.
I'm firing aim shots, not full auto, because I want to take as minimal chances on missing as possible, because I don't want to have it go through the bulkheads. It probably won't, but if it hits a weak spot, it might, for all we know.
Jim, go ahead and make 3 ranged combat attacks. I'm going to filter the 2 NPCs through you. As you have had time to prepare, I'm bringing them up to your level, as you've offered guidance and like a bead on where to focus. So you being the expert here among them, nice.
That was me. I was aiming pretty darn good.
At the sight of the creature, Danner obviously falls back a bit, just in shock. So I'm on the floor.
Okay, you talk about some good
Nice.
rolls so far. And this will be Curly.
All right. Now, Curly cannot push, unfortunately, simply because machine.
Yeah.
It feels no adrenaline rush. Though I'll tell you, the 7 successes here you have against this thing, you light this thing up, and it screeches as you're seeing the bullets just impact. And as that happens, you're seeing like Cyril, because you're hiding behind Curly. I won't tell anyone that maybe you going, oh, it might have thrown his aim off. Don't worry, it's our secret, okay? So
Actually, he was hiding behind a table.
I was hiding behind a table.
Oh, wow.
But not the table, was a curler.
But you're seeing as this thing in almost that continuation of slow operatic music is still playing. It is these impacts are just like shattering this thing's exoskeleton. Like it actually seems like it is crumbling and cracking, and there's just this kind of goo that is pouring out of it as it.
Guys. I think
Hold
I
on,
found
Isaac.
them.
No,
like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Isaac's trying back in the lab, but Isaac, you're not getting through right now.
I think they found it.
Splat. And do we see it start to dissolve through the bottom deck?
No. It just sort of
Interesting.
collapses into
Like
a twitching, like some of its limbs are kind of like spasming, but it just falls into a pile of a glistening kind of dark reddish oil. But this thing was completely fractured by the bullets.
It looked like carapace, like insects.
like chitin?
Yeah, and the insides are all soft and gooey.
Fascinating.
And
So
Danner's
so-
in shock and just seeing this scene.
So basically, hard to injure, but once you do, they go down quickly. Brittle would be a good phrase.
Brittle,
Brittle.
yes.
Yes. Glass cannon.
Now, we keep your eyes open. We still might have the second one on its way. Do not lay down your guard.
Are you staying here or are you going elsewhere?
We got the music playing. We got Danner hit the door frame, and we had loud bang bangs.
Guys,
It's
guys,
coming.
Did we reconnect with the radio? contact?
does the radio come back in?
Now
No.
that it's dead. Okay. Cyril, back out just a little bit in the hallway. Take Curly with you as a bodyguard. See if you can get in touch with Isaac.
Fair enough. Mr. Curly, please take forward.
Danner, as you were you backed up to the door in this moment, there was, as the orders are going out, you've heard a similar cadence in the vents. There is something, it sounds muffled, but it is actually retreating back out of this place and disappearing.
Hey guys, there's stuff leaving the area. I don't think they're coming back anymore.
Where? Point where you think you're hearing it from.
So I point like towards the back of the door, like the vents on the ceiling.
I point I'm assuming he's pointing at where the Scrabble is. I'm going to take one shot through the ceiling.
Okay. Take a shot.
Okay, I'm going to spend. How many fickle dice do I have left?
You have 2.
I'm going to spend one of them.
Okay. Updated. Do you want to push?
Wow. I'm not going to push now.
Okay. As he points, and let's say that the captain's door was here. It sounds like it might have been up in the ceiling with the second one. As you lit up and destroyed the first,
Mm-hmm.
it is scrabbling through and trying to get away back out of here. Jim, you're like, just follow, and there's a metallic kind of bang as it was trying to pierce up into whatever ductwork is already through the ceiling. Though there is a screech and a very and one drop of this kind of very viscous, like rusty brown red goo does drip down. However, you don't hear the scrambling anymore, and the screeching has faded from inside the ceiling.
Can't guarantee that I got it. I can guarantee it's at least injured, but can't guarantee it's dead.
Honestly, at this point, it's not a smart move, but it is scientific. I can get up on the same chair and just look.
Pick one of your lights down it.
I have a light at hand. We have a direct duct down towards there. I will literally look down the duct.
As they're doing this, I recompose myself, get up. I want to take out one of my little kits and take out a syringe and grab a bit of the blood.
I say, see, Danner, this is the problem with horror movie monsters. When confronted with actual technology, they just crumble.
Curly picks you up, Cyril. Upsy daisy. And holds you up so you can move like the vent access.
Thank you, Mr. Curly.
And
a little bit hurt.
You And in fact, this thing must have been speeding out of here. As you're seeing it's the low emergency lighting. It's not as brightly lit as this. It's the red lighting.
No.
He's got a light.
This
He's got
thing
an
is
actual-
not just like crawling. It was getting out of there. Like its claws were almost piercing through. Such that, especially with you having a light, those down below can see some of your light peering out of some of the holes here. But you also see this thing can cling to sides and ceilings. Because at some point it turned. And you are now and then you can look up. And there are just not gouges of metal, but it was crawling. It was dashing along
It was
the
galloping.
ceiling of the vent as quickly as it could. And it retreated back out of this place.
Okay. We need to find it and kill it.
Well, we tried to capture it with noise. It will be more wary of it. We still have
Mhm.
the catnip ball to try out.
Isaac, you are getting back through now that they've moved away from
Guys,
things.
are you okay?
And the second one also is gone.
We
One
are-
down, one to go.
Thank you, Isaac.
Okay, so it might be smart enough to try to avoid noise now if it survived.
Well, first, while we're here,
Assuming it's smart.
yeah, while we're out, let's grab the at least one more encounter suit, and then we'll try and use the.
According to the engineers, there's some reflective paint in the maintenance bay.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can use some of that to basically make a ball and basically throw it down a hallway or something.
Maintenance bay or storage bay.
A maintenance room. Sorry, barrels filled with like space paint.
Yes. When we go through the hydroponics, there might be actually EVA suits in Biolab. I'm not sure.
Not
But we
EVA.
have-
There might be like a simple quarantine suit, but not space
Yeah,
capable.
mop gear is not airtight.
Makes sense. Also, when we are moving through hydroponics, we can pick up a bunch of jars to collect the samples. Also, I will pick up a sample of this carapace thingy. Oh, there are so many tests I want to run on this.
Is it too early to celebrate?
Yes.
Oh yes.
As
Well,
Isaac is
Let's
asking
think
this,
way, though.
Isaac's voice is starting to cut out. Is it celebrate?
Curly, down, please. Down fast.
Everyone quiet. Try and listen to see if it's us or if it's Isaac that's in trouble.
Isaac, I want you to make an observation, please.
Hello, guys? Maybe it's on there. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Testing. Chief, do you detect
Okay.
Can, we,
Isaac,
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead and make an observation test, please. There you go.
can you hear me?
Success.
I can hear you, apparently.
Well, no, okay. That's the thing is, we need to find out if I can hear you through comms, so we know if.
Guys, Isaac, you hear in the vents above you a kind of a screeching and a loud bang, 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 bang metallic sound that grows louder and then diminishes.
It's here.
And then you all are getting that here, guys, it's here. And now he's back to full radio again.
Okay.
It's moving towards aft on the lower decks.
What do we have there? Is this where the fridge is?
It's trying to bust.
And it comes, and you're back. It passed. It went past you, Isaac.
It would have gone through med bay, which is where Isaac is here. And the way that it passed Isaac, is towards the compromised, not the ruined, towards the compromised engine.
It's going to the compromised engine. Hurry!
Okay. Down. Let's go.
Danner's still a little pensive of like how easy it was to take one of these down. So it's just gonna stay in the back of his mind that.
Danner, just remember,
Yeah.
a tiger will kill any man armed with a sword and chainmail, but a man with a big pistol can kill it.
It's never wise to back an animal into a corner.
No,
Even
but
with
sometimes you
guns.
have to.
You make
All
your
right,
way
so we head out.
to the elevator.
On guard, on Overwatch.
Elevator opens up on medbay deck, and you all make your way towards the engine.
Mr. Donner, we did not test whether that seal would be able to take the your expansive ammunition. Please refrain from shooting at the walls.
I assume you mean the red rust seal.
Yes, whatever. We did not come up
Do you
with
know
a
what-
name for it yet.
Do you know what it's how many pascals of force can take?
Surprisingly enough, I did not get my hands on it yet.
Because what I can tell you right now.
You chase the creature,
Yeah.
following the directions of Isaac. Down hallways stained with old blood, new rust, some kind of mixture of both. And you stand before the doors to this very dangerous area. Maybe even more so because there's a hurt animal inside of it now.
Mm-hmm.
The reading on the other side of the door is not a green light of all clear. It's an amber caution. You can still override it and it'll still open, but it can't detect what could be on the other side. Cyril and
Sure.
or Jim, are you opening this door?
Cyril,
how many-
hold on. Cyril, Danner,
Who was
Sure.
got EVA suits?
the only EVA suit is Danner.
Currently.
And I would suggest you and Danner get to the back. The second I open this is when we're going to have Curly and Sin aiming in, directly in, and then I'll be stepping up behind them.
Well, if you're behind one of them, I'll be behind the other one with the light.
Good idea. Ready?
Again, doing kind of like the same tactic as before, since that
Yep.
seems to have been
Yeah.
very
Moving-
effective.
When we move in, I step to the side so that Sin is not in my line of fire.
I'm checking with Isaac if he's breaking up.
Not not yet.
Okay. On 3, I'm opening the door. 1, 2, 3.
And
Move in.
in between, because you can vent out into space ultimately through the engine nacelle, there's a midway point. Now, this is recycled art after what I showed Danner. But
Yeah.
this is indicating that there's a lot of rust. Not exactly a lot of blood, but there's a lot of rust outside that next door that you would have to pass through to get into the actual engine room. This is it's not quite an airlock, but it's a security measure. So there's a lot of activity here. A lot of the
Great.
metal has had this kind of scratches and corrosion and streaking growth of rust. And you can make your way to the next door, and there is, again, it's an unknown signal. The door can be opened, but there's no way that the ship can tell you what's on the other side.
Alright. I pull out my goggles, put them on just in case. I know it's not going to help a lot, but... And hello, Raiders.
Welcome, Raiders. Cyril, Jim, are you ready to push the button?
Once again, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
A wave of humid, stinking air rolls out of the engine room. The walls are plastered with the crew. They're fused or glued. They're pasted everywhere.
They're in the hive!
Oh, I thought I left you back with Isaac.
By the way, the cat somehow got escaped.
Isaac's signal is no longer there.
Guys?
Alert, guys.
Okay.
Radio is breaking up.
Daniel is just amazed of what is before him, as he's sort of just kind of like not scared anymore. He's more
In shock.
like just in awe of what is everything. What is going on? What is all this?
Focus, Mr. Zammer. Dr. Zammer.
This is what it was doing with the biomass.
And it's here.
Mm-hmm. We don't know where, though, because its coloration will help it blend in with all of this. And like I said, I've got the goggles on. I'm just keeping eyes open, trying to find it.
I actually sweep it with both white light and ultraviolet light.
Jim, as you make your way in, from the wall, a hand reaches for your sleeve.
Who is it?
Sorry.
Who was it?
This is Dexter.
Sin, you know what to do.
And
I
there's
keep
just
watch while
this
he...
red that has like infiltrated under and through his skin.
Yeah.
As he's gurgling.
Well, basically, I keep overwatch while she steps up and puts him out of his misery.
Sin actually uses the laser.
Wait. Would it be wise to start shooting up this place? What if
it's the
alive?
laser? Well, that's the thing, is if the laser is silent.
No,
If
it's
he
not
steps
a
up...
laser. We don't know
What if-
exactly it will do, but let's see.
What if it
But the thing
alerts
is-
everything?
Doesn't matter. We need everything in here needs to die one way or another. Mercy for the crew, death for the beast.
Unless you can save him, Dr. Zammer.
Looking at that, I don't think anything could.
He's the doctor. I'm not going to tell him what he can or cannot do.
Daniel kind of just pauses for a bit and steps back, knowing full well that, this is beyond anything he's ever could have imagined being a reality.
Quick enough. I'm sorry.
Step away from him, just in case. Kill him now, quick. I hate to do that, but put him out of his misery now. He tried to warn us about something.
Daniel looks around for a bit, just seeing
That was a direct
the
order,
mask.
send now.
What's that?
I said that was a
send.
direct order, send now.
Okay. Single shot. Right to the head.
Mm-hmm. Examine the walls. Just watch the whole thing. Look for any kind of movement. Anything.
And the ceiling, please.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to see that, Matt.
I'm flexing on you.
You mean we
Sin
can read it?
fires. All right, sir. And a part of the wall that wasn't her former partner in security flies forward, screeching like grating metal on metal. She screams, trying to put the gun between her and this thing. What are the rest of you doing? She might have some kind of injury, but she's not torn to pieces in front of you.
Alright, and shoot.
Danner steps back, not out the door yet, but looks up, looks around. Does he see anything?
What you see, the walls are pasted with people kind of fusing into stuff and having metallic sheen and almost just looking like the exterior of that hive, only this is a lot more wet and juicy.
Wait, Jim was behind Curly and I was behind Sin, right?
No, you were behind Curly. I was behind Sin.
Okay. Mr. Curly, kill it.
Understood. Go ahead and roll for Curly, Jim.
Way to go, Curly!
All right.
I have been rolling unnaturally well for combat tonight.
Jim, are you lighting up this creature too?
Yes, I am.
Roll it.
And I am spending
Gotcha.
one more die. Oh man,
Oh. Hesitation, man.
that's not good.
All right.
That is not good.
Danner kind of just starts getting a little panicky. He knows what happens when, you kick a hive.
No, it's
And I feel like this is...
apparently I was closer to Sin than I was to the rest of the security.
It knocks the gun out of your hand and it falls into a pile of melding parts, Jim. And
Okay.
Curly I don't think you had him do full auto, but
No, unless
one
he chooses
shot.
to. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What's your order to him?
Well, the standard order is to minimize fire to keep from accidentally going outside the hull.
So from the angle here, nice 3 successes. Clean shot, almost like down this thing's elongated head. And there's a brittle break entry in the back and in the front. And this creature's goo just splashes all over Sin. And she starts screaming as this thing is starting to fall over and flail.
Did it have other wounds?
You have what?
Did that thing have other wounds?
Yes, I had hit it through the vent.
Well, I want to make sure it's the same one.
Yeah. It is the same one. It's got a second wound.
I mean, you don't know where you hit it, so
Yeah, but if it like has a cracked carapace on its arm or leg.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You see one. You see one in one of its legs. There's a crack with like a hole with a bunch of like spiderweb cracks coming off of the sides. And Sin.
Help Sin get up, get her over to Danner.
Guys, are you okay?
Do we have the radio back?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Jim, as you run over, you get close to her and you see that her eyes are bloodshot, and she has these like red veins already, like from everywhere that this dark goo had hit is just starting to spread out from her.
There's more than two! There's more than two!
Or it's not actually dead yet. Or all of this
The
needs
thing
to get destroyed.
flails and is going to try one last desperate attempt.
One success.
All
right.
targets in a short range.
So it is going to in this last like death flail, it leaps. Jim, you can try and dodge out of the way of this thing.
What does armor do exactly, by the way? Because the armor rating for the personal armor is 6.
Armor, you'd roll 66, and your successes negate my successes.
Okay. Where do I put? I didn't put it on the sheet, so where would I just roll? Just roll 66.
Yes, although you could choose to dodge instead, as this thing is leaking this corruptive fluid.
And that would be mobility.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd be better off trusting the armor.
Okay.
Okay, so 1, 2.
Two successes and one success.
So 3 successes
Okay.
and no 1s.
Jim, this thing flops up from prone and tries to like rake at you, and its claws dig into your body armor here as it falls over and begins twitching. And you can see that everywhere this thing touched you has this glistening reddish brown ooze. On one of your buckles, it's already starting to like rust and tinge.
Okay. First things first, draw the pistol and shoot it again at the base of the neck to make sure. Then immediately start cutting the straps of the armor, because I don't want to have to touch that stuff.
You cut your armor away, and you're fine. Sin, who's covered in way more of this stuff now, is just go. It feels like it's crawling under my skin.
I look at her dead in the eye and say, and then look at my pistol and say, "Do you want?"
It feels like it's under my skin. Thousands of them crawling under my skin. And she looks up at you and she's just incoherent.
I'm sorry.
She falls over.
Does the radio ever come back?
No, but that's a location thing because they're surrounded by
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
flesh metal fusion.
Stuff.
And he doesn't know any of this, so...
Now, in the
wait.
wake of this, both of your intruders have been dealt with. The engine room
Well,
is clear.
two that they know about.
Mm-hmm.
The engine room is clear. The hive is incoming. And your plan
Alright.
is to go and to recover engine parts and detonate the Caradismith?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. We already managed that.
And once we leave this room, because it's the other engine is the one we can repair, right?
It's this engine.
Oh, it's this engine?
It just, you're going to have to neutralize
We're gonna
and
have to
clear it
do-
out, but Dr. Iskander kind of knows the neutralization frequency. So,
Gamma ray pulse type situation there.
the crew loads up. You equip yourselves, and you make your way to the red shuttle. What is painted or what is coated? You don't have to worry about clanging and banging, though you are in a bit of a rush. Are you
Shuttle,
reflecting off the red shuttle by painting it, or are you trying to insulate the red shuttle, if at all?
shuttle is insulated and painted rock essentially is just tossed on a parallel orbit to distract from the insulated shuttle. It's a dirty job, but it's better than nothing.
Working as quickly as you can, as there's now even less hands to help. Paint a giant rock, haul 55-gallon drums of paint here and there, but at least you can do so and breathe a little bit more easily. Your plan goes into action, and you activate the other two generalist servitors, and they can help at least with a lot of basic things.
Mm-hmm.
You load into the red shuttle. It's time to start gathering what you can and seeing if you can stop this thing from doing any more damage to any more people, infecting any more flesh, metal, space itself. At least that's the overt gist. You all are welcome to have your personal opinions.
Labyrinths are not covered.
So, I guess we're going where no man has boldly gone before?
Oh, they've gone before, but they got walked all. The
But we're
labyrinths-
literally entering a hive filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of these things.
Where do you think we found you?
I take it.
Cyril, what were you saying?
The labyrinths will start using that laser pistol technology thingy, the frequency, to start disabling the rust all over the ship. It will be a job and a half, and they are the most qualified at this point.
Okay. You load up. Benny's piloting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to set off. Where's your first point of contact? The UPP ship wreckage? The Caradismith?
The Cicada.
The Cicada? You fly.
Load up first. Make sure we get those parts. It's more important than detonating the other engine.
You're flying. It's getting closer. It didn't take a couple days like it did the first time. It's taking an uncomfortably short amount of time. And there it is, the front of this thing. With pocked and eaten exterior. The open lattice work where there used to be plates and other things that would protect against the void of space.
It's weird coming back.
Oh, I forgot. I'm at stress level 4 now because of that.
By the way, I have the list.
What are
Good.
you all doing to protect yourselves in your EVA suits? If
I
anything.
got a bunch of bottles of the goop.
Should I even go on? Should I? Is there even a suit for me? Should I
You
even
need
go
to
on here?
stay on board the shuttle with
Benny?
Benny,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be guiding us to what we need to get.
Right.
I have my tablet with me. You can use the camera on the tablet to see, so you can see what we're looking at.
Right. So
you can
yeah.
identify the parts.
Yep. Eyes and ears. Got it. I'll give you the list just in case I made a backup copy.
Won't mean much to me. I don't know what any of that is.
Speaking of backup copies, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
before I leave the ship, I will leave a copy of my work on the ship on Emmet, and before I get off shuttle, and I will get off shuttle, I will leave on the shuttle another copy on the shuttle computer.
Okay, I got eyes and ears, so I should be able to see. Can you pan it over to me real quick?
Meow. Meow.
Carefully coat the EVA suits in this effluence. And you make your way into its, well, the black shuttle had a nice actual airlock. This just has that dock that can go between ships.
Yeah.
It can function, but it's not a proper airlock. So everyone climb in and you hit one button and it opens up the other side.
I mount my tablet on the chest with the camera facing out so that Isaac can see what I'm facing.
You float your way down through. It's very easy to get inside this ship now with all the holes. Danner, this is a graveyard. This place is haunted. Where once you complained that it was hot and overcrowded with too many people, there's no one now. And as you make your way through the more overtly chewed through places, you're able to go deeper. And these were the hallways, Danner, you remembered. These were the hallways that Isaac used to run through, where you used to complain or even just enjoy the camaraderie of someone else. Your mind, Danner. This may very well at some point in time have been this hallway where you first slipped in blood over 7 years ago, which was actually more like maybe a week.
Danner's looking through all this.
You need to take a left here, I believe.
What was Danner doing?
I guess you've explained it. It's just a reminiscence of everything. So he's kind of already familiar with the ship, obviously, but like he's just curious about it.
You need to take a left.
The signals aren't working. As soon as they enter the ship proper, outside of the whole area, this stuff eats and insulates.
It's not that he came.
You navigate your way through with the list of parts.
You could probably still signal them somehow through the tablet.
The wireless signal will not penetrate.
You lose all connection.
It's a good thing he gave you a list and a general description of what they look like.
Well, Cyril has the list because I was like, don't give it to me.
Against the list of the components that would have been damaged in the breach. You scavenge. It's stressful. At any point from anything here, something could crawl through. All of your stress levels increase by 1 as you're working overtime. You're salvaging what you can. You're trying to get hearts. You're able to get them over time, but you are losing time as this is getting ever closer to the Everett and taking you with it. But so far, nothing has been seen out of a corner of an eye or directly in front of you. But you can read the texture of things. You can see where there's some broken glass, not by claws, but by bullets. Some fighting on the inside. You might even be able to see some graffiti and other things. Even more, Danner, since you're going even further than you had before.
I will actually take pictures.
And with the parts that you need, that you've spent hours that feel like days, but you don't have days. Several of you are able to go back and place them in the docking, like, port, the clamp or whatever, the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And transfer those parts back into the red shuttle. Isaac and Benny, you have been on alert. You've been watching. You know these things crawl on the outside. You two have been looking with your eyes as best as you can.
Yep.
And now it's Isaac, you need to go and recover the parts and check them over. And as you check that in, it's time to go deeper to get to the Caradismuth.
Yep. Okay, that should be everything.
Can we get to the Caradismuth from the outside, or do we have to go through the Cicada to get to it?
How do we signal them, Mr. Bentley?
Coffee, real quick, can you play the ancient artifact music in the background here? There's an entrance, Jim, that you had discovered the first time you were here. An area that was kind of a sealed cap. A place that was closed off to this place that even these things had abandoned.
Early?
And so, once more into the breach. Okay. The membrane does have some depressurization as you cut your way through it. However, it seems to be capped on the other end too, like a interesting biological valve system. Cyril, Danner, maybe this reminds you of almost like a heart and how things can move through chambers. Not unlike the emergency systems that the Emmet had. That was just more mechanical. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. And you notice that the flesh on the inside here of this chamber looks red, alive. It's not that kind of pale, scabby callus that pocks the front of this thing. And that the seal almost heals behind you, allowing you, presumably, further ingress. The chamber even repressurizes. And there always was a light gravity. The mass of this thing. The sheer mass of this thing. But there's only one way to go. And you have to press on. As you make your way further, a more advanced state of what you saw in the engine room lines the walls. The remains of the crew. Danner, maybe fortunately you can't recognize any of these people. But they have become this place. They have been added to it. Jim, none reach out to grab you and apologize for being too slow. But it does feel like you're being watched, if only by hollow eyes and bony crevices. But there is some heat. There is some air. There's even some times when you have to take your glove from your spacesuit and wipe the moisture away. The further in you go, it feels more alive, like a beating heart. There is warmth, there is life inside this place. And when you leave this tunnel, after a long, slogging walk, there's an empty place in the center. And a ship you've never seen before, which is incorporated in similar ways that you saw the UPP recon ships. Though this does seem more alive. From the strands that you see coming down from almost the walls of this womb of the ship. Tendrils, webbing bridges. You see motion in the ambient, warm bioluminescence. There are these things coming and going, walking along these webs.
Everyone.
Whoa.
If we could just...
As my character is like looking at the tablet,
You can't see anything.
Oh wait, I can't?
No. There's no signal. Not through
Oh
this
yeah,
stuff.
that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
And I assume everyone stop. We cannot be seen by those things.
Cyril,
I
as
take a
Jim says
picture.
that, a small red and pale white hand kind of taps against the front of the glass of your suit. And you see a small creature, smaller than these, would almost be like a grub, but a grub with unsettlingly human hands. As it just kind of has been climbing down the wall, almost like a time when you're working and a spider descended from the ceiling on you. It's just sort of padding. There's no eyes on this thing. There's a disturbing mouth. But it just seems to be padding as it's making its way across the walls. And while there are the adults here, now that you've seen something like this so close, and the rest of you can turn and see as well, there's a lot more of these grubs. These little crawling things that are leaving like a viscous slime behind them. But there appears to be no necessarily malice. There's no claws. There's no sharp tail or an advanced body for speed. And this thing just continues its guards climb down the wall along the path you've been following on the outside of this inner chamber.
To clarify, you said disturbingly human hands, like 5 fingers, 3 phalanges, and opposable thumb?
It would be cool if it was symmetrical, but yeah, effectively. On the various ones, there's different amounts in different places.
Well, there was one hand which actually was in front of my face. I would.
Well, yeah, so
remember
that one would be
until I
like a
die.
little, like five fingered hand, yeah.
And Danner acknowledges that he sees these little creatures, and like you said, it doesn't look like they're threatening. So, I mean, I signal and then say, just leave them alone. We don't need anything alerting any of the giant creatures.
Yeah. Get moving. We need to move to the engine of the Tarantula class.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Donner, please. Little baby.
As you're following through,
Stealth as much as possible.
there's a few times where the adults are passing down. And they stop, and each of them examines you all. Tense moments as you're looked over by things that don't have any apparent eyes. One of them, Jim, that little set of mandibles, the extra mouth, comes out, and it doesn't have a tongue to lick, but it almost just to get a little bit on the end before it pulls back. And the mouth closes. And if hours felt like days, this 10 seconds felt like an hour. But it continued. As you walk past these grubby things, and you walk past some of these other adults, though they do look different. There must be different types of ants in this colony. But you press
Worker,
on,
soldier, queen.
and you navigate
Or it
through.
could be accumulation of data.
Well, it does appear to be a eusocial structure.
And you come to another point where there seems to be a membranous chamber. That would be where the UA ship would be pressed into the side of this hive.
Let's go. And the second we go through it, back up to full Overwatch.
And there it is, for sure.
I suggest we do not shoot. Unless one of these actually does something aggressive.
That's the plan, but if they start screaming and rushing towards us, they're getting an introduction to the pulse rifle.
Sure.
This is the Caradismuth. And Jim, you've been aboard plenty of UA ships in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And for a moment, it looks exactly how it should. But you shake that off because it's absolutely not. Well, in form, it is. Everything seems to be to spec except for, well,
It's organic.
everything.
Does it make you feel like a Jonas?
Like a what?
It's Old Testament of
No, I didn't hear what you
Christianity.
said. I didn't hear what you
Jonas.
said. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not creepy. I just now looked up. Basically, see, Eldritch Abomination in front of me.
I think you mean inside the rib cage of an Eldritch Abomination.
I was going to say the bowels, but yeah,
This
that's
is
nicer.
now a much more claustrophobic experience than the wide veins and arteries and lungs and other things that you had passed through before.
Definitely bowels.
Oh yeah.
As the inside of the UAS Caradismuth has certainly...
So let's give it a nuclear enema.
You push forward. Here you've passed more of a more advanced type.
Are we
I'll
too
make sure
lower
I
just
have
on
the
yet?
correct thing here. This I need to add. Oh, I added the wrong song. That's why. One moment as I fix this here. We are going to... Oh, I haven't added that yet. Sorry about that. I had a part of the name, but I had the wrong... I had the wrong thing here.
If you have the track added to the game, you can already just click play.
There we go. Now, as much as the Emmet was the size of a battleship, the Caradismuth is more of an aircraft carrier. Many people on this long voyage across the frontier to defend it against invaders, to patrol this space in the Cold War between the UPP and the UA. And there's a resonance, not quite a biological one like a breathing or pulse, but almost like, well, a singing? Something is echoing through the damp, thick air. And the closer you're getting to the main core of the ship, it's growing louder as more of a living structure with not just random crevices and bones, but hollows for things has been built upon the inside of this ship.
Like a hive. Like a honeycomb.
Yep.
Actually, can I identify like chords in it? Does it remind me of that opera song?
Does it remind you of what?
The opera song which we listened to in Captain's Quarters.
Not specifically, but in a grandiose sense of echoing voice, yes. But it's not that song. And here, it's not quite as wet, not quite as mucusy. And you walk. And there's parts you have to shimmy past, parts you
It's the
scrape
brain.
by. What?
It's the brain.
Or this is the hatching area, and they've already hatched those grubs, so this has been allowed to desiccate. All of those places that were insets were where a grub gestated.
Those would be the structural pictures.
Another one of these, it's not a grub, but it's one of the more simple humanoid forms. Walks past as they have.
Let's call them workers.
Danner, this one's lingering on you. It's taking a long time. Looking, sniffing, tasting at you. And of course, your suit is the oldest. And you've done a lot of scraping on the dry material.
We actually did collect a bunch of the stuff to put on our suits. Did we not put extra on the doctors?
This is my indication that this is a everyone problem.
Joey.
But Danner, the foremost in this moment. Danner, its face gets right up to yours, and it opens its primary mouth in a hiss. Now, I'll say that this is taking place as you're scooting along the edge and you got to get down, or kind of down to the engine area. We're going to say that that's right here. As you're walking along the edge.
Can someone kick it off? Say Curly?
How far of a fall is it, and at what level of gravity do we have?
I said it was approximately the moon's gravity, and it has however far this is to fall.
It will take a while.
Yeah, and it probably won't even reach its the terminal velocity at this level of gravity probably isn't going to be enough to even give it a sprained ankle.
Unfortunately, calculating physics in this moment is not going to save Danner. Action will.
Mr. Curly, kick it off.
Yeah.
Understood.
Danner, are you going to do anything?
Danner's just kind of observing it. He's just watching it, not really wanting to do anything to the creature.
Well, we don't have an option.
The Curly lifts his leg and kicks. Successfully makes contact, but doesn't have a lot of programming for low gravity. Still makes contact. The thing tries to dodge out of the way of this sudden movement, but is unsuccessful in doing so. And so it is now slowly twisting and hissing as it's falling.
When the laser was used back in the engine room, was it silent, or did it make a snap hiss, or
yeah,
what?
it's not super loud, but it would definitely be making like zip cracks and hisses, especially if it's impacting something
as much hiss as this
wet.
water falling down.
Okay. Who's currently carrying the laser? Is that you, Cyril?
I am carrying it. I will shoot it at immobile targets, but I'm not fighting. I'm not using it in combat. I just know which end of it is the dangerous one.
Cyril, I will say that you have 10 shots with your laser before the batteries are out, and you would need to recharge them.
Yes, but I'm not going to be shooting at moving targets.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm just
about as likely as shoot myself with it.
You're charging up your laser.
What are you doing now?
Well, I didn't want to have to do this.
I think we should speed up, unless you want to shoot it with this laser.
I was going to say, we need to silence it because there might be some kind of alarm it could raise.
Here's the weapon. Kindly show us how it's done.
Is there an accuracy mod to this?
It's basically your old
The
pistol.
original had a +1.
Yeah, so you can keep the +1 on this. He was able to keep the grip and everything the same, so yeah, it has some wires, but that's fine.
As once again, I roll far better than I should have for ranged combat.
And it works very well. It pierces through this thing long ways. Bit of an unfortunate repeat of the engine room.
From
And
the guggle to the
this
sack.
rusty, viscous stuff just starts kind of also leaking out and slowly falling alongside and tumbling with it. But it stops flailing and hissing. And 9 shots remain.
I'm not security specialist, but maybe we should speed up.
Exactly. We just needed to make sure that was silenced. Did I just hear something?
Probably.
Let's go.
Do you want to hold on to the pistol, or would you rather continue with your rifle in case?
I'd rather have the rifle in case of immediate conflict.
Okay.
The
Excellent.
pistol is for specific situations.
Excellent. Let's go with that.
Moving more quickly. Danner, maybe you want to be in the middle of everyone? I mean, you all did get freshly gooed, but, I don't know, maybe it's just because your suit had more, or it's a property of it being exposed to space in the time that you were going between the ships or something. But, you move and move. And you find it. The power plant and central engine of the Caradismuth. Overgrown. Tendrils everywhere. Like the wires that you would normally find, but biological and strangely also not. A metallic glint. Some of the angles just... something wouldn't grow like that normally.
Well, Doc, what? Well, Doc, looking at the both of you, how do we go about this?
Well, they are working right now. If we make sure the controls are not controlling, at some point it will blow up. The trick is to make sure it will blow up after we get off the ship, rather than before that.
And out of the radius of the detonation.
Yes, that is a given. So we need to ruin the safety features on these devices in a way that it will not be immediately explosive.
If Isaac did talk to the engineers and this plan was basically our go-to plan, he probably would have written down like the instructions on like how to go about that safely.
By the way, are there any informational systems, any screens still working around here? It's much easier to program it to blow rather than mechanically dig into it.
Yes, but roll a Comtech to interface with it.
I'll use the dice.
Okay.
Nice.
Four.
Once again, this party is rolling like crazy.
Cyril, there is an area that does have a lot of tech exposed. A lot of not this writhing mass. Not really writhing. It's not like pulsing actively or squirming.
It looks writhing because
But-
it's so meandering.
And you're able to access it. It looks like someone, whoever was here before, might have already been in the system, might have been trying to do something similar to what you were doing before this person wasn't able to do that anymore. You find it easy to navigate. The password was already entered. You just had to actually hit the return button on it, kind of a thing.
Just made me change the variables as to when it's going to go.
And so, it's open to you, Doctor. What would you like to do? Now, depending... real quick, I'll give you some options. You could try to make your way back out through here, if you wish, though it seems that your camouflage resources are depleting. You could also try to, from here, in the planning of this ship, try and climb out to an area that was not covered from the outside. Because
That's
remember,
my suggestion.
the whole ship wasn't... It was only like the bottom part of the hull that was grown around. It's gone through, but it hasn't been able to consume the ship down. You could try and go up, or you can go through.
We can go up. We can contact the bus. They can come pick us up.
Mr. Donner, do you feel you would be able to lead us through this ship? You seem to be familiar with the general layouts.
Yeah, although usually they're much better about cable management than this.
We can file formal complaint later.
Yeah.
Okay? You're setting it for...
We are setting it for enough for us to get through this ship to the location where the shuttle can pick us up, plus 15% for screwing up along the way. Oh, and plus enough time to get out of range, naturally.
Yeah. Assume at
okay.
least 5 times the
we actually
radius.
calculated earlier.
Yeah. We already calculated what the radius of the explosion will be.
Now, it's set, successfully so. And, as is only fair to any crew aboard a ship facing self-destruction or scuttling, a warning goes out. Now, the timing of the warning is
Danger. The emergency
is going to be off from what you're hearing if you're listening to the channel. However, now contesting with this odd rhythmic opera, the echoing calls, the Charadismeth blares through speakers, some of which are open, others are gargled and clogged with stuff. The voice.
Start booking
warning.
it.
What?
While it's doing, start booking it. Move now. Go
The
this
voice
way.
coming out sounds distorted. It sounds much like Dexter was in The Wall, as this computer voice even blaring its warning through the meat, clogging the klaxons.
Lead the way.
And this jarring sound echoing everywhere along this aircraft carrier-sized ship has definitely broken the beautiful rhythm of something big. Something that screams in anger. A creature.
Maddie.
What?
I'm sorry. You paused. I thought I had time. Never mind, go on.
A creature in the glaring strobes, the violent sounds that replace the soft, warm pulses and the singing, begins to crawl from this back dark place. It's 4 times the size of any of these creatures you've ever seen. And it screams like an enraged mother.
And I kind of like the idea of there's like the voice of like, maybe they got a queen or something like that.
Grenades.
We better hope not.
In this thing.
Isaac, you would not have knowledge of this. However, Isaac, as we do go, we'll cut back to you real quick.
Yep. So,
You and Benny, after having checked the stuff in, and you're waiting by the UPP ships. So actually, it might be a little bit more fair that you and Benny are here. You've been using your eyes to watch because the sensors can't be trusted.
Yep.
And it looks like there's some movement. As a lot of these specks, these dark red specks, start emerging from little places on the outside.
We should probably not be fairly close to this thing. The last thing we want is one of these things on this ship. Right?
I don't want them on the ship. But also, Isaac, do you see that? Look,
See what?
the Caradismuth. And from the con towers and the small parts of this, like the parts of this ship that are sticking up,
I see it.
metallic through the flesh. There are lights that are flashing. Warning strobes.
That means that the self-destruct has been initiated. They got, depending on how long it's set up and depending if it's being messed up, anywhere about, they got like maybe an hour, maybe 5 minutes tops.
An hour, 5 minutes.
At 1 hour, like at most, 5 minutes tops. At the quickest, I guess he would say. 5 minutes at the quickest.
All right. I'm gonna bring us over there, and where are we gonna? They're gonna have to jump to us, but if they can jump to us, so can. All right.
Do you have guns on this thing?
Isaac, I need eyes. Let's do that.
I'll be.
At some point, we'll be able to make contact with them. Keep them on the radio. Try. And Benny takes the red shuttle, the insulated red shuttle.
If this thing's got guns on it, I could probably fire them. Try to keep them off their tails.
Isaac, I'm piloting a school bus in a war zone. I'm sorry.
At least it was a fun little thought, I guess. But I'll be your eyes and ears down below.
Thank you.
Is there a bit right there? Oh, wait, more red. Never mind.
And you begin flying across the surface of this moon. It's big. It's not shaped like the moon, and this is the real time. But there's a lot more activity as you continue to skim a reasonable distance away. Something has these things irritated. The hive has been kicked.
Well, yeah, They basically activated the self-destruct sequence, and Mama's probably not happy.
But they don't know. All they know is that there's something screaming at them, yelling, "Peppa, explore and pat a minute. Peppa, go and pat a minute."
For the crew, inside the Caradismeth, there are creatures now also beginning to wake up. You're seeing arms reach out from between the cords and all the nooks and crannies. You're seeing these slow, kind of oozing grubs starting to very, very slowly schlorp their way towards you. What's your plan?
The second we see movement, what direction do we need to get out of here and get up to, get to the outer sections of the ship?
At one point in time, this was a very fine staircase leading to the next deck up, before it was redecorated by the current inhabitants.
Basically, first priority is get out of here. Second priority after that is shooting at things attacking us. So,
And re-establish radio contacts.
yeah, but that'll happen when we get outside of here.
Hopefully.
So, we get booking it. Move, 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 move!
For me,
Oh, I don't know why, but now I
Hold
just...
Hold it, Isaac. Hold it. I can't hear
Sorry.
what Cyril's saying. What?
I said my first priority is to follow the guy who seems to have priorities.
I want a mobility roll from each of you to not trip or get your foot caught in a crevice or something. You are welcome to use Fickle God favors if you'd like, but this is going to be a straight-up mobility for each of you.
I think I'll use one
Oof.
at this point.
Oh.
Cyril's using one. Okay. Anyone else used one?
I don't have any left. I used mine.
I only got one left.
Jim, are you pushing? And, Danner, are you pushing?
I'm gonna push. No attribute
What
was
the
found.
heck?
What?
What is that?
But at least I can read it because it has stress dice listed.
But it's got more dice than I should be rolling, though.
Well, hit it again and see what happens, Danner. So you have a success, but you also have some stress too. Okay.
No.
All right. So.
And that's a complete reroll. That's not a...
Well, two of those are successes.
Let's see. Danner, I want you to roll a d6. All right, 3 plus your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 10. And on your 10, as you're running here, you freeze. You're frozen by fear or stress for a round, losing your next slow action. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs increases. As you panic as you run, there's a claw that juts out from between two of the metallic but dripping steps. Something was under the staircase. It goes. It doesn't grab you, but you just stop. Like you almost, like that was it. It could have just sucked you into the stairwell underneath there. Danner,
Matt,
yeah.
I got a tremble from my panic and 3 successes. Can I grab him?
Yes.
Drag along?
Yeah, I'll let you grab him as part of your stunts.
You want me to go ahead and try rolling mobility
is
again?
anyone, is it just me, or is anyone else getting
there we
all
right,
the Marines like run away from the hive?
I rolled for you. It looks like you got one success here.
Okay.
So you're able to keep up. Yeah, so, Danner, maybe this is too much. It's the self-destruct all over again. These things are everywhere, and Cyril just grabs you and pulls you from that claw that tried to pull you down into whatever lies beneath these steps. You're running, and you're running up between timp of metal and splorch of
Organics.
bio stuff. I need another mobility.
Danger. The emergency
And if any of you are using
is now activated.
Fickle God rolls, let me know.
Oof.
T-minus 10.
Oh, I still have one.
The option to override automatic death.
Alright, so Jim, you are panicking. I need a d6 roll. I need a d6 roll from Danner as well. 6,
12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12, yep. So that is
Okay,
Scream. You scream your lungs out for one round, losing your next slow action. So you don't stop completely, but you're gonna move slower here. However, you can decrease your stress by 1 for screaming. For Danner, that's 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, both of you scream.
I
Cyril,
don't know why, but
Cyril, what was your
sorry.
mobility on this second test?
I'm using +1 Fickle
Okay.
Gods and -2 for Tremble. I have 3 successes.
Okay,
and a panic.
and a panic. Nine.
9. I dropped something. I think I dropped my laser gun.
That's about the only thing you're carrying right now.
Yeah.
The only weapon to presumably be able to zap through this weird mixture of bioflesh. You drop, but Cyril, with those 3 successes, you're also grabbing both Danners. So you lost your weapon, but you pulled them up.
It's a more the trade-off at this point. I can make another gun.
Early grenades! As soon as I get the chance to catch my breath.
You are
I don't know.
ascending. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know why, but I can just imagine like when they're both like screaming, it's like T-Rex chasing them.
Now, there are sounds of screaming things clambering up the metal. These move faster than you, for sure. You've seen them on the Emmet. You need to do something to cause a distraction, to slow them or destroy behind you. What are you doing so you can get to this last level and hopefully flag down or signal or something the red shuttle?
Grenade the stairs
All
behind
all
us.
the grenades, please.
The stairs behind us.
All right, make a ranged attack, and one more for Curly.
For me, submit. I miss.
Oh no.
Okay.
And for Carly,
Okay.
Can Curly even panic?
No,
Yeah,
Curly
Curly
can't.
can't.
Uh,
I could actually
Jim,
ignore
did you
all
want
the
to
yellow
push?
dice.
Yeah. Please work this time. Don't give me that.
a success
Brilliant.
and a panic. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this is 6 plus whatever you roll. 7.
7.
Nervous twitch. Everyone's stress level increases by 1, but your grenades fly down, and the first more smaller, lithe-looking workers, as they're coming around the corner of the steps, as you're making your way up, grenades just thunk down and explode. These ones are not hardened on the outside. They're not brittle, but they're super juicy on the inside. They don't look like they've formed the calluses, the plates, yet. But they explode. And let me see if you got them all.
Between me and Curly.
It's clear. You continue running. You get to a point where you're on the comm deck. Now, It's the cold void of space, but you're gonna have to break the glass in case of emergency if you want to get out.
Armor-piercing magazine in place. Shoot the glass with the armor piercers.
Armor piercing. Confirmed.
Well,
On your
roll, or is
signal.
it just a fire?
2 range combats. Excellent.
2 successes.
2 successes, but Curly panics, if he could.
Yeah, Curly cannot panic.
All right.
Curly ignores all the yellow dice.
Yeah, but both of his successes were on the black dice. So
Which is good.
Curly and Master Gunnery Sergeant Jim Danner here. Level armor piercing. And there's that moment of cracking of spider webbing and a very recognizable sound of venting. The glass breaks. And while this is a slow motion description, it happens very quickly. Whoom. And you do escape.
the second I fire while it's starting to break, I reach out to grab whoever is closest to me, so that we at least, we don't have to go
The 2
zigzagging
Danners
across
hold
the
hands.
Yeah, the 2.
Hang on, everyone!
The Danners.
Hang on to each other.
I think I see them.
And very much a massive sucking wound has been blown into this thing.
I grab on Curly.
Dr. Skander and the robot just
I think I see them.
Much made in hell.
I see him too, kid, but oh no. What are those things behind him? And from your vantage point,
Looks like
you see they weren't the only
a
things
lot
that
more
were
ants.
they weren't the only things that were sucked out of this window as well. As there's a shotgun
boy.
blast containing the away team and a lot of these other things that have been sucked through this depressurization.
Game
Isaac! Oh, I
Real
don't know
quick,
how to do this.
real quick.
Yeah,
Aceless ammunition does not require external oxygen to fire. I can shoot and propel myself at the same time.
Isaac, this is going to be insane. But, alright, you here. Look, we've talked enough in the cockpit. I trust you. I saw what you did in the lab. You got this, kid? I need you to just point at them and fly in that direction. I gotta figure out what the fuck to do with this airlock. That's not an airlock. Oh. And now you are back. Isaac, this is you. We are ending in a sense where we had began. As you are in the pilot seat.
I'm going to use the last fickle god favor to basically help me with this pilot roll.
Yep, let's...
Might as well. It's probably going to be my final roll for tonight.
You need to navigate through, again, this shotgun blast of creatures that, if they make contact with your ship, will probably rip it open with little to no effort. You need to dodge these flailing things while also trying to get in this position to collect your friends that have kind of clustered and are blowing out as well.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies! No whammies!
Do you want to push it?
No, sorry!
Okay.
I'm taking
Isaac? And you... okay, just remember, what did you even say? No, don't touch the button! And you shift over and you hit another one of your thrusters as you do a spin, as one of these things is coming tumbling in. It would scream if it could actually scream. And you There's this like do 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 as you two like flip around each other, and this creature goes just hissing past you. But it's not over yet. Benny, who's piloted this shuttle before, has apparently been able to rig this up. I need you to make another piloting check in order to be able to not just get here. You're going to have to almost scoop them up like a fishnet inside this retractable hallway. Isaac,
All right.
the longer you're out here, the more of a chance you have to encounter these things flying out of the Caradismith. Try and collect them.
He's gonna try his best.
Isaac, you maneuver around. Benny tells you, you got this, kid. Come on. You hit one thruster and then the other, and you're like, I've always wanted to do this. And as the docking hallway extends out, and for those at the four of you flying through space, and like Cyril, you're here with Curly, and Curly looks at you, he's like, I admire you, Doctor. And this fishnet just all of you.
Thank you.
In a maneuver.
So basically, you just caused a shuttle to drift.
Yep.
No, Isaac basically drifted a bracket plus-sized ship in space.
Yeah.
Just Tokyo drifted a bus in space.
Good.
And now we get back to our ship, fix it, and get out of here.
Yep. The four of you are left to go wait until the pressure cycle goes on in this little hallway. Yep. Benny comes back up and sits beside you. You did well, kid. We gotta get out of here now. And Isaac, you may make one more piloting test with +2 dice, as you have Benny actually writing co-pilot, as you're already in the main in the main seat.
Well, okay. That's one day full of excitement. I am pushing that.
Immediately unload, clear, completely, make sure everything is in its safe position.
I've always wanted to do that!
Isaac, with another 2 successes, you, everyone's in there. Now, fortunately, gravity's not going to be as much of an issue here, so it's, you're not, like, shaking them around, per se. But you maneuver out of there as you're spinning, and another one of these creatures comes by the windshield of the canopy, and like catches on to I don't know, it'd be like a windshield wiper, because this thing can do planetary. It like catches onto the windshield wiper, spins, and there's a moment where like it doesn't have eyes that you can see, but like you're looking at each other, and its mouth opens up really close to you, and right before this other mouth comes out, the windshield wiper snaps, sending it off again. And you've already gone around the moon, you hit it back. It's time to get back to the... Well, the Cicada's not your home anymore, but you know what? The Emmet just might well be.
He felt scared, but I didn't feel the Emmet.
And it is here, with the return.
Let's save it for one day.
The Emmet. The days are spent trying to clear this mass, which you've been able to cut away, trying to recoup, trying to get this thing fixed. As the hive, well, you were able to take care of the hive pretty well, and you didn't need any special sensors to see what you did to it. And this kind of energy absorption almost acted like a capillary effect. And there's this beautiful trail of energy that had been following behind this hive as this red rust and flakes and biomass just kept shedding off. And as this hive burns, even in the vacuum of space, with a glittering trail of this red stuff, no longer red, through this pure white light released by the massive fission reactor explosion of the Caradismuth, you did limp your way back to the Emmet. You fixed what you needed to fix. Go ahead.
Boy, do I have some stories to tell when I get back.
Matt?
Yeah.
That tablet was also recording.
Okay.
All of the information.
Excellent.
All the information from the from our trip in there, plus all of the information about what was found on this ship.
I'll have a copy
Superiors.
of that, please.
My superiors get the direct copy, but with clarification that we are not the only ones with this information.
Uh-huh. Hey,
I think I threw both of my
that was
shoulders, dragging the
holy
down.
crap. I don't think I figured we could have done that. I don't think I could have done that again in a million years.
The further out we go through space, the more likely something like that's going to happen again.
I wonder what ship was that inside.
I don't think you, but
The which ship? The smaller one or the larger one?
we should probably get
the
this ship
horseshoe
fully
inside.
repaired.
I couldn't hear because.
Sorry.
What were you saying, Cyril?
The horseshoe ship inside, the one that was not made by either UA nor UPP.
Or by any human hand, it'd be my guess. Wherever those things came from, that was them. That's my guess.
Maybe it was some sort of weapon? Like a
ICSC.
probe or something?
ICSC Emmet.
Holy shit, we got radio.
Cyril, you take comms. You're better at than I am.
Listening.
ICSC
You know what? I think I did
Emmet.
this.
Emmet,
This is-
listening.
Destroyer Yedna. UAS. Come in, Emmet.
Emmet, coming in. This is Dr. Cyril Iskander. It's nice to hear you.
How many days out are we from this?
You've been floating for probably 2 weeks. It's
Okay.
certainly given you time to, rest as much as you can, but to try and fix what you can and limp along one engine.
Yeah.
You all see, and maybe Isaac, you're like, oh, wow, you like run to one of the windows. Maybe Danner. Danner, you might already be there too. And you're like, oh, well, the last time I saw
About time.
a UA Navy ship, that was a long time ago. And as the destroyer Yedna is almost pulling up along, not super close, alongside the Emmet, there's a very nice lady, very busty, very pinup style, who is kind of winking and giving a peace sign. Looks like she might have fallen over, but I know none of the sailors are probably complaining.
I'm assuming that's what's painted on the nose?
Yeah. Emmet.
This is the Emmet. Can you read us? We are receiving you. Can you hear us?
They don't appear to. And yet...
Start flashing the inner lights on Morse code.
The engineers... It should. We cleared away the stuff. The antennas should be working.
Oh, no.
Emmet, stand down. Stand down. We will fire on you, Emmet.
Turn off the...
Run into the bus.
It's not that. They know what we are.
Oh,
They know
shit.
what's on us. Run for the bus.
I have it.
The
Go
UA
for the
Navy
bus.
apparently doesn't hear you. And apparently has made the
cut
call
the
that you are
engines.
threatening them with weapons.
Well, I'll cut the engines, and then we can run for the bus or whatever.
That would not be a good idea. Just immediately, just forget
Let's
it. Just
run
run
for it.
straight. I'm already running. I'm already halfway down the halls, running at top
Well,
speed.
I cut the engines.
And as you all do what you're doing, we'll have to find out what might actually happen if we return to the red space once more. As it is here, the story of the Hive, the story of the Emmet and its surviving crew. Well, this chapter's come to an end. I wonder what will happen between the Emmet and the Yedna. And I wonder if the Master Gunnery Sergeant's instincts might be correct. Or it could be a simple miscommunication, but I somehow doubt that something so advanced as the Emmet would fail at such a crucial time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank each of you, both Danners, Cyril and Isaac.
Yep.
I want to
I have
thank
fun
all
playing
of you
Isaac.
who have watched us play through our 3 sessions of this story.
Oh, one little thing I would like to add. He is absolutely running with the plushie in his arms like this. Gotta save the
I'm
plush.
sorry, do that again. I missed it.
He's got a
he's-
plushie in his
Oh,
arms.
right.
Yeah, he's running with the plushie in his
your
arm.
comfort.
Yeah, his comfort thing. Since I never use it, might as well. At least I have like a final cute scene for him.
And so it is here. We will conclude this. Thank you, everyone. I had an immense amount of joy running this with you, and I know we ran a little late on this. Thank you for your patience. Coffee Cat, if you're still around, thank you very much for working things in the background and hanging out as long as you did, and for doing
I
what you
am
did.
still here.
Coffee Cat lurks. I'm going to go take us into a raid. We're going to go down to New Zealand and visit Armin, who is currently painting up an adventuring wagon. Armin plays and teaches a lot of D&D, especially kind of old school Greyhawk style. As his hobby, as his job, he's an anthropology professor. And I'm sure he has lots of stuff he can always talk about and share in fantasy worlds and in our real one as well. Very nice
He's not
guy.
a smith?
Huh?
He's not a smith?
Oh, for Armin Hammer?
Yeah.
Let's go. Did I raid that? Maybe not. I don't know. Hang on. I lost my. Where did my window go? I might have accidentally closed it. So yeah, we're going to. As soon as I learn how to Twitch. My gosh.
Professional streamer, everyone.
Professional streamer.
Strim.
There's the command. Okay, I'll see you all over down in New Zealand, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed the story, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube at some future point in time. And look out in August for Vampire the Masquerade. The Red Deemer is going to be our 3-part story for that. So take care, everyone. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure with all of you here. Be well.
Bye.
Bye.
Holy crap!
I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
I think.